up. I'm finding that the schools that I want to go into more, the ones that maybe the kids need the help more, don't have the resource or they don't have the staff to actually engage with me in the first place. Whereas the private schools, who've got all the resource in the world and kids that come from very comfortable backgrounds, they can't work with me quick enough because they have these programs, they have these futures weeks, they have these personal education programs that each of the kids have, and great, happy to do all of that. But there is still a problem that outreach into the schools that have children that perhaps need it more is still a struggle, and they're getting next to no financial education whatsoever. So they leave school at 16 or 18 or whatever it might be. They go into the world of work, and no one's told them how to manage your money. No one's told them about tax. No one's told them about all the different things they should be thinking about, pensions and budgeting. And yeah, it can all be taught. It just isn't.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know that exists. What was that program called, sorry?
So the CII is the Chartered Insurance Institute. That's the governing body for our industry.
Child Insurance Institute.
The Chartered Insurance Institute.
Okay,
yeah.
Chartered Insurance Institute.
Yes. So they have an education champion program. So there's a few chartered financial planners out there that do the same thing. And yeah, we outreach into schools, give up our time pro bono to go and deliver some workshops, try and make them regular if we can. But yeah, it's I think it's a really important thing to do.
Yeah, thank you for doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But I did hear you touching earlier on that it's normally within schools of more privilege that get this sort of opportunity, and schools that need it more, say the more public schools, they don't exactly have this sort of program in their schools, or? Yeah,
and you don't necessarily need the program. And I mean, if there is anybody involved in schools that's listening that wants to reach out, you don't need a program. You just need to carve out an hour of time during a week for the students, whether it be class by class or in a larger environment, for me to come along and just do a quick workshop on the key things that they should be thinking about. Try and bring it to life a little bit. I know pensions and money might be a bit of a boring subject for a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So
it still could help some.
It could help some, and if one person in the room it makes a difference to, then it's worth doing.
Exactly.
And I like to think I'm still just about young enough to relate to them. I can understand, the sort of idea of people coming in to talk about money. You might think some stuffy guy in his 50s or 60s in a suit coming along and talking about pensions.
Yeah.
Hopefully I bring a little bit more life to it than that. So
yeah,
if it makes any difference at all, then it's worth doing.
So is that something they have to reach out to the CII, or can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me.
Okay.
Yeah, they can reach out to me directly, and we can arrange it between ourselves. I'm doing my own outreach to schools as well. But yeah, it obviously makes my life so much easier if schools can come directly to me. That would be great.
Yeah, what about other community centres and things like that? Which
it doesn't necessarily have to be schools. Yeah, it can be youth clubs. It could be community centres, and it isn't necessarily. It's not just school kids that need the education. I would say that people leaving school for the first 15 years of their working life, possibly longer. I mean, I've met people going into retirement and have still never really looked money in the face or really done much about educating themselves. And it's a topic that people can go through their whole lives really just avoiding. And if they just decided to pay attention to it and get themselves a little bit educated and take some guidance, then it can make all the difference between the life they want or the retirement they want to the one that they get in.
Mate, I'm 35 and I want to join these classes as well.
Well, come along, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, right now you got me wishing I was like a head teacher or something to get you into, the school I managed or something. Because I know there's a lot of local schools in the local area that could benefit from any conversation about money.
Oh, 100%. And look, most of my inroads into these schools are just through talking to parents or talking to people I know who have kids going, you know what, my kids could really do with that. I'll put you in touch with, so I know the deputy head there. That tends to be my inroad into the schools.
Okay.
So, it doesn't necessarily need to be I need to speak to the exact correct person. It could just be, just get me talking to somebody, and eventually I'll find my way to where I need to talk to, and whoever that is, we can sort it out from there.
Sounds great. What is a common misconception about being a financial planner?
A common misconception about being a financial planner. I think the industry's changed a lot in the last 15 years, 20 years, let's say, pre-financial crash, because there's no doubt the financial system around the world was responsible for a global recession, mortgage crisis that caused a lot of damage and created a deep mistrust in the financial services industry. Post that, a lot of work's been done. In 2010, there was a retail distribution review in the UK, which revamped the levels of qualifications, it revamped the standards, it provided new principles and guidelines on how financial advisors should be working. Because before that, the old IFA culture, the independent financial advisor, was, part of it was unregulated. You hear the term cowboy thrown around quite a lot. And there was an awful lot of horror stories. Now, there's been a huge cleanup job, and I think certainly since I've been working in the industry, I've only really ever come across great people who just want to do the best thing for their clients. And, I'm proud to be part of that industry. We do feel now like we are a profession alongside solicitors and accountants, and we hold ourselves to those standards. So, yeah, I think the industry's come along a long way, and it's far more professional than perhaps maybe the perception might be because of what happened in the past.
Do you think the financial industry is more geared to avoid a recession? I did hear a couple of years ago that they thought we was going into recession, but it wasn't something that was announced. I think it was some people felt like we was in a recession, but I don't think we actually was in a recession.
Well, a recession is a technical thing. It's basically consecutive quarters of negative growth, and that's what a recession is. So technically, we were in a recession.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a long recession is something that's what hits the economy much harder. An economy can dip below that threshold and technically go into recession. But if the levers are being pulled correctly, and if the Bank of England are making the right decisions, and our monetary policy and our fiscal policy are aligned to try and protect us as a population from the effects of a proper long-term recession, then the consequences can be largely avoided. Now, longer recessions like 2008, 2009. COVID was sort of a recession, but it was a really, manipulated recession that was really kind of controlled. And then